chapter 5. Chapter 5 is about having your own enterprise. The first thing that they start with is the employment the conditions under which the work is done. In Dutch, we would translate it with arbeidsvoorwaarden. We've got two categories. We've got the pays an hour, and we've got the employee benefit. Primaire arbeidsvoorwaarden, most important, and the employee benefits, secundaire arbeidsvoorwaarden. A couple of examples. Pay in hours is about the wage that you are going to get, how many hours are you going to work, but also the kind of work. Are you going to stock shelves or are you going to teach children? That belongs to the pay and hours. We've also got a few examples about the employee benefit. I'm going to grab one example. Sometimes your mother or father gets a car from the company. That's an extra that you get because he or she needs it for his or her work. Sometimes they give you a discount card. So these examples are the extras that people get from their boss. And employees are people who work for a boss. We see over here all kinds of people who work for a boss. And if you work for a boss, you get every month your salary, your wage. Besides that, you usually have, or usually sometimes people have, a subscription for the union. The union is a group of persons who try to fight for the interest of these people. For them, for example, it's very important that they have a good wage, but also have very good employee benefits. And you don't have a lot of power if you just go on your own to the boss. So that's the reason why we why we work together and have far more power to get these things. We see over here Trump, besides being a president, he is an entrepreneur. He's self-employment. You've got an employee who works, people who work for a boss, but we also get an employer, and he is the boss. We also call that an entrepreneur. Well, being an entrepreneur involves risks. And why is that? Because, well, if he doesn't do things well, then his company won't make any profit and he is not able to buy the things that he would like to buy. Whereas someone who works for a boss, well, usually they have less risk losing their jobs. They just have to do their job right, and every month they will get money. Well, his type of income is the profit, and he's got a lot of responsibility. And why is that? Well, if he is going to make a big mess, then a lot of people will lose their job. I'm going to scroll down. We see over here in Dutch, nieuwe CAO, politie, 6,5% salarisverhoging. This one has to do with the pays and hours. So it has to do with this one. In Dutch, primaire arbeidsvoorwaarden. Besides that, this word is also very interesting. If you are going to work for someone, you've got an agreement and a contract. But it's not doable to make a contract individually for every person. So that's the reason why we make a collective agreement. So a contract that applies to everyone who's working for that big company or who's working for that sector. Then we are going to calculate. The turnover is about how much money you are going to receive. In order to calculate the turnover, you need the price of your product multiplied with the sales, and you will find out what the turnover is. Sales in Dutch, we also use the word offset. Well, students already found out that this isn't the money that you have to spend, because you also have costs that you made. So in order to calculate the profit, you need something else. You need the cost of sales. For example, you're going to sell bicycles. You sold 10 bicycles for 100 euro. So in total, your turnover is 1,000 euros. What is your profit? Well, for each bicycle that you bought, you paid 25 euros. In total, you bought 10 of them. So 10 times 25 euro gives you 250 euros. What is the gross profit? de bruto winst. It's the turnover minus the cost of sales. The turnover was 1,000 euros. I used 10 times 100 euro, 1,000 euros. The cost of sales is 250 euros. So my gross profit is 1,000 minus 250, 750 euros. But still, this is just an example how the gross profit looks like for the company Apple. They've got different products, which they sell, and you see over here the gross profit for each product that they have, the iPhone, the iPad, but also the Mac and other products. Well, besides the gross profit, because that isn't still the money that's left for the entrepreneur to spend, we have to find out what is the net profit, netto winst. And the net profit is calculated by deducting the operating costs from the gross profit. So in the previous example, we got 1,000 minus 250 gives you 750 euros. Well, the 750 euros minus all the other costs that we have, perhaps we've got to pay the electricity bill, or we need to pay someone's wage, or we need to pay interest. If you deduct all these things from the gross profit, you will end up with the net profit. And we call that in Dutch the netto winst. And this is the money that the entrepreneur can spend on his own.